Chαῖρε, φίλε, and welcome. Today we are in John chapter 4, taking a look at verse 3, ending off this page. Here is our rubric, everything that we're looking for as we go through this text. Let's go ahead and get started. Also verse 4. Oops. Atheken tein Judaion kai ap elfen Paulin eis tein Galilean, ede de auton di erchestai diates Samarias. And that's as far as we're going to go, and I'm sorry I garbled that pronunciation. I'm a little bit out of practice. So, atheken, right away or immediately, that is, our word is a verb, and that's nice. Epsilon nu is, of course, a third person singular. And then atheken, that comes from, I think, aphiemi, which is apo and hiemi smushed together. This word has a variety of different meanings, and of course it looks very weird. It doesn't actually look at all like itself, and that's one of the annoying things about this me verb. So what we've actually got is our aorist stem, aphiemi, aso, I think, and then apheka, and then our perfect is something else. I don't remember the perfect principal part. So anyway, we've got aorist, active, and indicative, and this means one of any of these options. He sent away, and another one is divorced. I'm not going to write that down, it doesn't make any sense. He didn't divorce all of Judaion. Looking at my notes, I had to write them all down. Pardoned. He left. He remitted, which is basically another version of pardoned. Or he allowed. And now with allowed, at least in English, I would expect an infinitive afterward, and we take a look. There's no infinitive in this clause, so that's at least in English not the best option. And I don't know if aphemi even uses an infinitive when it has this translation. That's one of the things that I didn't look up any further in that meaning. So he sent away, pardoned, remitted, left, allowed. Tein Judaion, alpha nu, especially with this eta nu from hohe to. This is accusative, singular, and feminine. The Jews. And so we need to figure out which of these makes most sense. Did Jesus send the Jews away? Did Jesus pardon the Jews? Let's forgive them of their sins, often how this is used. Did he leave them, or did he allow them? Allow them, again, doesn't make any sense. So with the Pharisees there, I would almost be tempted to say he pardoned them. But we don't have any further explanation, and that's where we're going to have to take a look at the rest of this verse and then the next verse to get an idea of what is actually going on, and then that will guide us in our meanings here. Okay, ap elthen, epsilon nu again, so it's going to be another third person singular. This is from ap erkomai, ap eleusomai, ap elthon. So erkomai is deponent, but here in our aorist stem it becomes regular again. So, with op on there. Third singular aorist. I'm going to write active even though the present form is deponent. And indicative. Op, of course, means away from. So, and he went away from, and he left. Pollen, of course, just means again. Ace, prepositional phrase. Tein Galilean, that's the end of verse 3. Ede doesn't fit inside a prepositional phrase anyway, so that's a good spot to end it. Plus accusative. Alpha nu, eta nu right there. So singular and feminine. Into Galilee. And I don't really know why we have the article there. There's really only one Galilee that I'm aware of. Okay, so Jesus sent away the Jews and he left again into Galilee. I'm going with left because we got into right there. Jesus pardoned the Jews and he left again into Galilee. Or Jesus left the Jews and he left again into Galilee. So Pardoned could work, but we don't really have anything else here to indicate that's the best fit. Allowed, of course, not. Sent away, that works, especially since we've got left here again. So I think that one's the best fit. Or we could say left twice, but that's just awkward in English. So I'm going to go with sent away. Now into verse 4. A day is an adverb, and it just means there or in that place. Day. And or but. Auton, so that's going to be a accusative singular masculine. If it were without the nu, then we would know that it would be neuter. The erkesthai, sigma, theta, alpha, iota is our ending in this case, and this is an infinitive. So, brain going blank for a moment there. I'm going to write infinitive in. The erkomai, we've got epsilon rho key as our stem with the preposition the. So then we know that this is going to be a present. And of course, deponent, is it? No, which is not spelled with a, whatever that letter was. Present deponent infinitive. And this means to go through. And there, auton, to go through, dia, tes. Dia takes the genitive in its case, or its object, sorry. Tes, alpha, sigma right there, into this prepositional phrase, singular and feminine, through the particular Samaria. So then that just leaves us figuring out, well, what's this accusative doing here? And why do we have an infinitive? So we don't have any clear word from verse 3 to set up whatever this clause is, but it looks like we could have an accusative subject with an infinitive acting as the main verb, in which case, and there he went through Samaria. The dia is doubled. And that makes sense. Without any other words in verse 4 or from verse 3 to add clarity to this, I don't really know what other clause makes sense at all, what could explain this. So I'm going to treat this accusative singular as a subject, this infinitive as a main verb. He, no, it wouldn't be past, except infinitive. Almost made a mistake there. Almost translated this present infinitive as a present. Now, why is that an issue? Because it's an infinitive. An infinitive doesn't actually have time. It just has relation to the main clause. And the closest thing to a main clause that we've got right here is this aorist verb afeken, or this aorist verb apelfen. So present tense infinitive next to a main verb just means that it's happening contemporaneously. It's at the same time. Had we had a aorist tense infinitive, then we would know that it takes place prior to the main clause. So we don't. Therefore, went is in fact correct. And there he went through the Samaria. So from verse 4, therefore, as Jesus perceived that the Pharisees heard that Jesus made more disciples and he baptized more than John, although Jesus himself was not baptizing but his disciples, he sent away the Jews and he left again into Galilee. And there he went through Samaria. And there we have verses 1 through 4. I hope my rambling there for a bit didn't mess you up too much, and I hope this has been helpful for you. Have a good day.
What? You're still awake? Why are you still here then? You should be reading a book. Or if not reading, you should watch one of these other videos. Please like, subscribe, leave a comment. See you next week.